Hello friends. As we all know, everything new is old, everything old is once new again. Trends are so cyclical. And lately, I've been thinking about some old, outdated trends that a lot of people have largely stopped wearing, haven't worn in years, but that I still love and think are poised for a comeback. I mean, obviously anyone can wear anything regardless of trends. These don't have to come back for me to like them or for people to wear them. But these are specifically things that have become less favorable over time. Most people have kind of stopped wearing them, but I still like them, and I feel like if reintroduced now, people would go for them again in our current fashion climate. So let's just get into it. The first outdated trend on my list is diamond stud earrings. This was like the only earring anyone wore through much of my middle and high school years. Truly what the simple metallic hoop has been to the last handful of years, the simple diamond stud was then. And I think these were just so ubiquitous that eventually people got sick of them and moved on to hoops as the new everyday earring. And now I never really see anyone wearing these. But I really think they're equally timeless to a hoop, if not more so, or really any neutral earring made of metal or gemstones. And because I don't really see them anymore, they now feel a little different, a little more interesting than the most trendy earrings right now. And I think a lot of people would find them refreshing and go for them again now. I like that they're different than what we see most often these days, but they're still incredibly versatile. They go with everything, maybe even more so than neutral silver or gold jewelry, because I really think the little diamond stud can go with both silver and gold. And I feel like most of our current most popular earrings are on the larger, shiny side. So I think it's fun that these are sort of on the small, sparkly side instead. It's like a similarly eye-catching accent, but in a different way. I also realized recently, for a while there in the 2010s, everyone I knew with a nose piercing had a hoop, not a stud. But it seems like recently studs have kind of come back in for nose rings, so I could see the same thing happening for ears. Another thing I love about little studs is that they work really well with a big earring stack if you have a lot of piercings. And you know, big earring stacks have also not been quite as in trend lately, but I could see those coming back too. I think people are hungry for like edgy alternative styling options in the wake of the super cutesy, frilly girliness of fashion in the more recent handful of years. This look also just has a very strong, cool older teenage sister in the late 2000s, early 2010s vibe to me, which makes me extra partial to it and nostalgic for it, having had a cool older teenage sister at that time. That might also be part of why this feels a little edgy to me, especially like in a stack of multiple earrings. Oh, and I'm sure you're all assuming this anyway, but just to be clear, these do not have to be literally real diamonds. That's not the point at all. I don't think mine ever were. I just mean this look. The next trend I was so into back in the day that I would love to see come back is cut up DIY t-shirts. By the way, if you are into DIY and fashion upcycling like this, I definitely recommend today's sponsor Craftsy. They are a great online resource for all things creative, and they literally have content on numerous different cut t-shirt upcycles. Craftsy also has over 2,000 classes that cover sewing, embroidery, painting, knitting, jewelry making, and so many more categories, and they're led by experts with step-by-step instructions for makers of all skill levels. Beyond helping you with specific fun creative ideas and projects, Craftsy has also truly helped me level up my creative skills on the whole. Specifically sewing, I had so many light bulb moments with Sandra Betzina's class, Pant Construction Techniques, that have helped me with all my other sewing projects moving forward. And get this, the first 1,000 of you to click the link in the description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Valid for new members only, and literally worth it for that Sandra Betzina class alone, honestly. Shout out Craftsy. Now back to the old forgotten trends. Do you all remember these shirts? I was so into these. I did this to like every t-shirt I owned. I wore them all the time, and frankly, I love everything about this. It's DIY, it's creative, it's upcycling. It's also kind of cool and edgy and alternative, somewhat similar to the stud earring stack. And it's so nostalgic to me, so that just makes me even fonder of it. And I think all of those factors would also contribute to other people being into these again now. I also loved this at the time because it felt so personally customizable. Like firstly, you're customizing a t-shirt that you already have. And then also there are so many different variations and ways that you can do this that even within this DIY umbrella category, the options are totally customizable and you can make so many different things and looks and designs with it. I did variations of this to so many t-shirts back in the day, and I don't even know if I ever did quite the same design vision twice. One drawback of this look for me personally is that I have realized I prefer more of a boxy t-shirt with a high neckline on me, so I don't actually always love this slouchy open cut up style on my body type for some reason, but I don't know, maybe there are ways to do this that maintain that higher neckline, boxier look. And slouchy DIY cut necklines on shirts have definitely already started trending again. So I feel like this more intensive cutting and like tying, weaving, etc. is a natural next step that people would 100% embrace. And they're just like so fun to make. Like the act of making it itself is also a great activity. You could get together with your friends and do it, have a little craft night. Man, I gotta try making one of these again soon. I'll find a way to make it work on me. I'm invested now. The next outdated trend that I still think is cool, I feel like some of you are going to hate. Honestly, some of you are going to hate all of these, but it's Crackle nail polish. Remember this? Oh my god, if you had this on your nails, you'd be the envy of the entire 8th grade class. It's edgy, it's textural, it's layered. It's genuinely cool. Sorry, I'm saying it. It's cool. Personally, I had some of this nail polish in black and I would wear it layered over like really bright other colors. I do think that that specific look would remind me of that era so viscerally that I could not wear it now. But with a more subtle, low contrast color palette, maybe black over another dark color, it could look so cool. People are also so into really interesting detailed nail art right now. You could even mix this in with the current mismatched nail art trend, have some of the nails with the crackle on it. I feel like it aligns with the more creative nail art that we've been seeing. And again, I could also see a lot of these very subtly edgy looks being really appealing to people now. I just feel like fashion has been so like sweet and cutesy lately. And I feel like we've already started seeing a shift towards something slightly more edgy, a little more alternative, like low-rise baggy jorts come to mind. I feel like some of this stuff could appeal to that same crowd. Side note, I was Googling this nail polish while prepping for this video, and I found this Bustle article from 2023 saying Crackle nail polish was back. I don't really think that was true, Bustle. I haven't seen this nail polish since high school, personally, but I love that someone at Bustle was, like me, still thinking about this nail polish in the 2020s. And who knows? Maybe it's still incoming as a trend. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if someone presented it and proposed it well, people could be into it. I wonder if you can even buy this now or not. Does anyone know? Let me know in the comments if you're like tuned into nail art stuff. Is this available? All right, our next outdated trend is bird motifs. On graphic tees, as prints on dresses, even as tattoos, these were everywhere in the 2010s. They feel very twee-coded to me, but you know what? First of all, twee has had a low-key revival. And secondly, birds are timeless. They're part of nature. They're part of every environment around the world. So everyone can relate to them and has experiences with them. They're like authentic to everyone in ways that other graphic motifs might not be. Like, I don't know, what else was trendy in the 2010s? Bicycles, regionally specific plants or animals. Those all feel a little more specific. Birds speak to everyone. They're also very rich in symbolism. I feel like they're associated with sort of a literary vibe, which also connects to the twee vibe. They're all a little related. You could throw like a typewriter and some round spectacles in there, you know? And yes, maybe the rich literary symbolism of birds has made them a little overdone at certain points. But I don't know, I just don't think birds can ever really go out. They're always going to be around us in the world, regardless of trends. That said, I also think people could get into them again now because they're sort of connected to like a coastal vibe, and that has been very popular in fashion lately. I feel like with the New England lobster and fish motifs, the cozy fishing town vibe of it all, a coastal bird motif could fit right in. But also, anyone could really use any bird that relates to their own environment in fashion. Honestly, give me pigeons on shirts in the city. I actually could totally see that too. It feels adjacent to like the alternative rat motifs on stuff, you know? Give me cranes for those in more marshy environments. The variety and opportunities are endless. I love birds, and I think many people could connect with them in a way that still feels authentic to themselves and their environments, which is also kind of something people are seeking in fashion lately. People don't want these like trendy motifs that feel completely detached from their own reality or experience as much. People are just more drawn to the idea or impression of authenticity in general right now, and I feel like birds could be a good vehicle for that. I own a lot of bird art, actually, and I think I would happily allow them into my wardrobe as well. I mean, not allow literal birds into my closet, but bird motifs. I'm on board. Okay, this next one is something I identify with the late 2000s and early 2010s, but that might also just be because that's when I was coming of age. You all who were adults at the time, let me know if this was a trend or if it was just something kids were doing. Also, if you have kids right now, are kids still doing this? let me know. Anyway, the fashion item in question is string friendship bracelets. Surprising absolutely no one, I was obsessed with making these as a kid and young teen. It's very crafty, DIY, creative. I learned how to do them at camp, and I loved learning all the different types and weaves, the different variations you could do. I did so many of them in my free time as well. I loved making them with my friends and like swapping them. This is peak girlhood to me, being outside among some trees, making some string bracelets. And that brings me perfectly to why I think people would be into these again now. 1, we are loving a DIY moment, a customizable craft. 2, we are also loving childhood nostalgia in fashion. I think this could appeal to the girlhood culture. And people are also loving expressions of community among women via this like girlhood label. I mean, like the Swifties are doing exactly that with their beaded friendship bracelets that they like make and swap at concerts, right? So basically, this is already happening with a different type of swappable DIY bracelet. The time is now for the string friendship bracelet to return. I also think these feel sort of boho, I guess just because of the handmade quality, the fact that they've existed like throughout all of human history. They have sort of that like folk art quality to them. So I could see these tying in with the boho trend as well. Side note, fun Liz lore drop, the case of embroidery floss that I have now, that I use now for all my embroidery projects, was actually a gift I originally received as a child for making these string friendship bracelets. So most of the string in there is over 15 years old. And my love of string bracelet making has inadvertently enabled my later love of embroidery. Okay, this next trend maybe already has come back, or maybe it never really left. I don't know, but it's tying up your shirt at the waist. I feel like this was really big in the 2010s. I did this all the time in high school and college. And I'm sure plenty of people have been doing it the whole time and never stopped doing it. But I feel like it became noticeably less popular for a while there. I guess because people just got more into baggier outfits with lower waistlines, and the high up tied waist maybe felt a little dated to some people. But I have actually seen this popping up again recently. And I think it's because, yes, it was big in the 2010s, but it was also big in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s and the 40s. It's truly eternal because it's easy to do, it's effortless, and it just always looks good. And I do think that's what many of us are chasing in fashion. Especially lately, a more like effortless, classic look does seem to have taken hold. I've also just always liked this because I'm a little short, so often button-up shirts look quite long and disproportionate on me, especially if I wear an oversized shirt or a men's shirt. So I just think this helps the shirt suit me better often. And I think probably a lot of people feel the same way, especially because this is often done with oversized menswear or menswear inspired button-ups, which tend to be a little longer and boxier. So I think this just works well for a lot of women to adapt these shirts to their bodies. I don't know what else to say about this one. It's a total classic. It comes back again and again. It always looks good. What complaints could you have? Okay, for our last outdated trend that I think is actually cool and could come back again now, we have another graphic motif, anchors. Hear me out. I feel like when I picture anchors in fashion, I think of the 2010s. I'm picturing them on very 2010s coded clothing in like all other ways as well, which makes them look and feel very dated. But when I just think about an anchor itself, it's actually quite cool. Like it has a very rugged, adventurous vibe. And I mean, they have been around like throughout human history. They're really not confined to a specific era. If anything, they just feel sort of broadly historical, which I love in fashion and art. I love drawing on and referencing and reflecting on the history and culture of humankind. And again, these are both timeless artifacts of human history and very pertinent to current fashion trends. Like I said, we've had so much coastal nautical stuff in fashion lately, and this aligns perfectly with that cozy New England lighthouse aesthetic. I also like that anchors have that coastal vibe, but they also have sort of a grizzled toughness to them, you know? Like I said, they're rugged and adventurous. They're always like old and sea-worn and covered in seaweed. They're also sort of a classic tattoo motif, like this kind. So there's something sort of edgy about them too, I think. They work for that heritage coastal vibe and that more alt edgy vibe. We've also got sailing motifs back in fashion, like sailor collars and sailor hats, which feels a little different than the more like cozy heritage coastal vibe, but both very related to an anchor motif. Anchors could perfectly meet the moment. That's all I'm saying. in the right context, used the right way, I could totally get into this again, and I think a lot of other people could too. Bring back anchors, you cowards. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear if you agree with me on these trends. Do you also think they are low-key cool still? Do you also think they could come back and be embraced by the mainstream? Let me know. I would love to hear. And I heard if you do leave a comment, watch another video like maybe this one that the algorithm thinks you specifically would like, and subscribe, someone will make you a string friendship bracelet.